So the last cannibal film we're going to talk about today, I'm just going to spoil it, not as good as the other two that we've talked about. Now, this is a film from a country that I've not talked about a film from before. This is Indonesia.
Yeah, which actually, that's one of the redeeming factors of watching this, is that I don't think I've ever watched an Indonesian horror film, perhaps. Probably never watched one, so...
Now, this film is directed by a guy called Sisworo Gautama Putra, who, I'm not going to lie, he's not directed any films that people are likely to have heard of, but he did direct a film called Satan's Slaves, which was remade a few years ago and was shown on Shudder. So you may have seen a remake of his film. So that's kind of the most well-known film he's done. So this film is Primitives. It's also known as Savage Terror. I mean, really, they're interchangeable, whatever. But yeah, Ria, what's the story of Primitives?
After a raft accident in the jungle, 3 anthropology students and their guides attempt to escape from a primitive cannibal tribe that has hunted them down. The 3 students are called Tommy, Rita, and Robert.
But they are very interchangeable, I'm being honest. Let's just say.
All 3 of these movies are really sort of close in when they came out. And did you notice, like, on the opening titles, that the film company is called Rappy Films, which I actually sort of read as rapey films straight away, and I was like,
wow,
yeah, it's probably accurate. I mean, yep,
that says a lot about you, boy, in fairness. Never mind.
Well, after watching 2 other cannibal movies, who could blame me, but it also says in the opening titles, this is a true adventure, and I was like, well,
I mean, it's a true adventure for someone.
Depends what you deem as an adventure.
Yeah.
But also filmed on location in the jungle where the events portrayed actually took place. So stretching the truth a little bit there, perhaps. And they do thank the Indonesian government. Now, I have been to Indonesia before. I've been to Bali.
Oh, okay.
So, so found it quite interesting location-wise. And also interesting use of the craft work on the opening titles there.
Yeah, very different kind of, I think, level of kind of budget and kind of filmmaking that we're dealing with here.
Yeah, now, like 80s electro craftwork song about robots over a jungle sequence. I mean, that is some...
I remember this now, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you reminded me of it. Yeah, sure. It feels very out of place.
And it literally has the word robot in the lyrics as well. It's like, but there are jungle leaves on the screen. How is this relatable?
Oh, dear.
I thought the camera work was quite creative as well. You got a lot of like sort of spinning camera work at the beginning. It's quite disorientating and sort of cheaply done, but creative. I like the camera work.
Yeah, I would say, well, let's put it this way. So you get certain films that are kind of, they're badly made because the person making them just doesn't know what they're doing. And then you get films that are maybe not very well made, but that's not a reflection of the filmmakers. It's more like the resources that they're working from, or maybe like a lack of experience. And I think that's maybe the case here, because from what I understand, that the director has made, let's just say, better films than this.
Oh, really?
I think this is a fairly early film in the director's career. So yeah, this film is very heavily indebted to early cannibal films. Literally one of them we have just spoken about, which is Jungle Holocaust, because the plot of this film, barring like the first 20 minutes, which may as well not have even happened, quite frankly, it's 2 people get captured and various things happen to them, like children cannibals pee on the man who's in a cage. Where have we seen that before?
Oh, yeah.
I wonder.
Some of the same stock footage as well going on here. Animal cruelty. Literally
a lot of the same stock footage. So you've got, a snake and a lizard, which you said was a Komodo dragon, I think, or it looked like a Komodo dragon anyway. That literally was taken from, Jungle Holocaust.
Yeah.
Literally just
spliced in
again,
there.
The quality of the actual film stock was different and everything. So you can tell it's been spliced in very badly.
Yeah.
We've got, people looking at it like, oh, what's going on here? And it's like,
yeah. And because this is like maybe not one of the most popular ones, I think it's quite hard to get a good sort of copy of this. And it almost looks sort of VHS quality in some of the footage, like film footage.
Yeah. Some of it was literally, well, yeah, the version that we saw was VHS quality.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
very rough around the edges.
yeah, it kind of adds to the charm, like in some way, but a lot of it's quite dark because it is in the jungle. So yeah, a bit ropey. Um,
Yeah.
but more on the nose exposition and hammed up dialogue, like very over the top, and
Ah.
interesting choice of actors here. I mean, so I think Robert looks to be Western or British, and then the female, so Rita, who is kind of dressed like a Western student. Like there are some bold fashion choices in this. There's one part where she's like on the river on a raft or a boat or something, and she's wearing like a red wool beret, and it's like blazing heat. It's like clearly like hot sun, middle of the day. So it really does feel like it's like trying to make her look like a trendy student. And she looks Indonesian, possibly. And then Tommy, like I'm not sure. He looks Indonesian, but he could be like
Yeah.
Indonesian or Asian or like Indian. I'm not quite sure. Who
Yeah.
knows? So it's sort of a mixed bag, but it's almost like they're all portrayed as the three of them are like Westerners that have come from out of town, but only one of them is like looks English. So.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Tommy was the only one who kind of stood out to me. He's like, oh, it's the guy with glasses.
Yeah.
So he stood out immediately. He has one of my favorite, I guess, unintentionally funny kind of things that happen in the film where he eats a load of apples.
Yeah.
Or at least I think they were meant to be apples. And I thought he died. I thought he'd got poisoned by these apples that he'd eaten randomly. I was like, okay. And then he just wasn't dead. So I was like, okay, so what was the point of him eating all those apples? It's
I don't
very
know.
bizarre.
I think it was just some kind of subplot where he's supposed to be like tripping balls, just on his own. And like, so they sort of like disposed of him for part of the plot and then they bring him back at the end. So I feel like that was the excuse, but I thought he was going to die at that point as well.
There are a few funny things in this film that I kind of wanted to call out. I like near the end, there's a massive spoiler for the end. For that same character, he is essentially near death. And I think what's meant to be happening is he's remembering kind of his life just before he dies.
Oh.
And one of the things he remembers is them at a water park.
Yeah, that part's hilarious.
And it's like them going down this water slide.
Yeah.
This is like literally like a minute before the end of the film, which is so funny. It's
probably
just
like
out of nowhere. It's like, oh my God, what is this?
He's like, oh, summer of 77, guys. Do you remember that? Just at the water park having fun.
Yeah. I mean, water parks are fun and everything, but yeah, I just...
It's really random. It's like, yeah, did they spend an afternoon shooting that? And then
they must
just
have done.
10 seconds
Clearly.
in there. Why did they do that? Did they just they got the location for free and they're like, we're just going to use it?
Yeah. There's a bit near the start of the film. So this is when... So again, there's a massive cliche in these cannibal films where people are either anthropology students or actual anthropologists. So they are anthropology students and they have a guide. There's always a guide who takes them through the jungle and they're with this quote unquote nice cannibal tribe who aren't going to eat them. And they're watching them doing their tribal dancing and stuff like that. And at one point, I'm trying to remember if it's to the tribes people, one of them starts licking the other one, maybe because they've been cut or something like that. And so to heal their wounds because they're sick, one of them just literally starts licking them.
Yeah,
it's a bit weird.
It's really weird and gross. And like, yeah, there's a few parts of like that in this. There's a part that I also found that like I really got stuck on where they sort of stripped off all the when they captured them, the three students, and then they sort of neatly cut Rita's clothes so she was still covered, which is very respectful of the actress.
Well, yeah.
But it just looks so constructive. It's literally like, have you seen like bad cavemen or cave people fancy dress where it's like really neat and cut to look like it's like torn? Like that's what it was like on Rita. She's like imprisoned and she's in a cage and she's tied up, but someone has clearly very neatly cut triangles with scissors into her clothes to make it look like it's sort of like torn. Yeah, not great.
Yeah. Also, like, because they're in the jungle, you'll hear like animal noises, like birds chirping. Now, in the other two films, it kind of got the sense that, okay, this is probably real, whereas in this, it's clearly not there. It's clearly somewhere where there aren't like this, these animals. It kind of feels like you're watching like a Bruno Mattei film. Like if you remember, I appreciate this is a few years ago, but if you're watching Zombie Creeping Flesh, where what Mattei has done is he's cut like these this stock footage of like random animals just in the jungle, like, oh, here's an elephant, here's a giraffe, here's a tiger randomly in the jungle, and it's kind of a little bit like that, but like with the Foley.
Yeah.
So
it's like all these weird cutaways that are supposed to sort of give context, but it just also makes no sense with the plot and sort of interrupts it.
Yeah, I just wasn't convinced. It didn't break the what was it? My suspension of disbelief was broken.
Yeah,
definitely
agree. It definitely broke up the pacing of things. And did you notice the snake on a string, like the fake snake?
My god, yes. That was actually another thing you've reminded me. So there was the funniest thing in the film is there is a cannibal who is killed by a snake. And how they do it is the snake apparently is so strong that it can tie around the man from a tree, pull him up, and then drop him to the floor and squeeze him like a boa constrictor would do. But what the actor is clearly doing is doing like, I'm being strangled, I can't breathe, like on the floor, like pretending to be like killed by this snake. It was so funny.
And there's the kind of obligatory sort of tribal rape scenes, which again, not pleasant, but they sort of half do it. So at one point it just looks like he's like humping a leg, and not that we need it to be more convincing because it is grim, but yeah, it's just a little bit like cheaply done and kind of not that convincing and just uncomfortable to watch, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, all right, if this was real, you are either humping her stomach or
her leg, her
underneath
thigh.
her. At one point, there was one of these films, I was Eaten Alive, where there's a guy who's meant to be having sex with Mimi Lai, and it's like, well, you're underneath her at this point. What are you doing? You having sex with the air?
Yeah,
clearly.
pretty much, because I guess it is just super uncomfortable. So they're trying to be careful and avoid it, but also it doesn't look convincing on screen. So it's just kind of weird to watch.
And in terms of our body count, so to speak, how many do we have for this one?
So, I mean, this is the shortest movie. I think it's around 90 minutes, 97 minutes or something like that.
It's pretty short,
It's quite short. So it's got the least deaths, 10 deaths. So Komodo dragon, which is probably the exact same one that died in the other movies.
Yeah, sure.
A scorpion, a native man, a leopard, the fake snake dies. One of the boys, that's quite an uncomfortable scene to watch. One of the boys gets killed because I think he rapes one of the girls and then they kill him. An alligator, Bisma the guide, who actually quite liked by the end. That's quite sad to see him go.
Yeah.
And a monkey dies, and then good old Tommy, poor old Tommy dies. So
yeah, he dies literally right at the end of the film, and then it just ends. It's like, okay.
So that's a bit of a theme in these movies as well. It's like you sort of think that they've made it to the end, and then there's that good old twist of, the disappointment at the end where, he almost made it and then died just at the moment where they were going to get out, which is quite sad.
Yeah. Bisma was the only character that I liked, if I'm being honest. He was the only one who had any kind of, I don't know, anything about him.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, I'm not really, this isn't a film that I'm gonna be gagging to watch again, if I'm being honest.
No.
Like the first 10 or 15 minutes, it feels really quick. Like it's like they cut about 10 minutes out of the story because they're just with this tribe, and then they're like, oh, we want to see like more cannibals, please.
Yeah.
And then they just bump into this other cannibal tribe like so quickly.
Yeah.
And like, other than Tommy, our man with the glasses, it's difficult to kind of distinguish between the three main characters. They aren't given any kind of differing characteristics.
No, it is weird, especially like I said, the quality wasn't great and it's quite dark. It is quite difficult to tell. It took me a while to sort of get into like who was who and differentiate. And there are some questionable quotes in this.
I'm sure there are.
There's one that said, I haven't seen haven't you seen the women? Their boobs are sexy. And Rita says that. Like, I'm surprised at you, Rita.
How dare you, Rita?
And then Robert straight away says after that, well, when it comes to jumping into bed, I like to be the savage. But Robert's here all week to tell those kind of jokes. It's almost like they just crowbarred these lines in there. They're like, should we put some funny one-liners in here just to lighten the mood? And they just put these in, but they're not really relevant. And then Robert and Tommy have a conversation about how they know that they're going to get out of this okay because God's going to save them. And
yeah.
I mean, this is difficult for me. I'm not a religious person, so for people who are, like, this might make sense to you, but it's so over the top and like ham the way that they tell it. And it's also only introduced like towards the end. So they've never mentioned this before.
Could be an Indonesian thing.
It could be
possibly
an Indonesian thing, but it just feels out of place, and it does make you laugh because it's just so out of the blue. So yeah, they sort of mention it a few times towards the end that God's going to guide them through and save them. I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I've just been reminded, like, my favorite kind of stupid thing. Tommy, I mind Tommy again. You see, I like Tommy because everything that I've mentioned sort of revolves around him. So our two main characters, who, as I said, don't really have a lot of personality, they escape and they bump into Tommy. So he's not died from eating those apples. So he's alive. And like, oh, right, we've got to get out of here, right, as best we can, right? And Tommy's like, yeah, but I want to see this cannibal tribe. It's like, motherfucker, like, you just escaped from these people. It's like, no, can we go back? No, not going back.
Luckily, Robert says no.
I was like, yeah, we're not going to do that, I'm afraid.
But then, later on, so they sort of see the savages again because they're like still on the run, and a pole gets thrown at Rita, and she like gets hit, and then another pole gets thrown, and it's like a boomerang, like it goes round and comes back again.
Yeah,
laughable, like twist of fate that this pole just diverts away from them. It's very like crappy effects.
Yeah,
it's a pole on a string.
It's a boomerang, I think. Yeah, sure. It was very bizarre stuff that would just randomly happen every now and again to break the tedium up a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So yeah, just like I said, not really a fan of this one. Just like, even narratively, like, again, compared to the other two films, like, you know, one has got a very kind of streamlined story. The other one, yeah, there's a lot going on, but it's quite involved. This is just very much like, yeah, we're just going to get to this bit as soon as possible and rip off this other film as much as we can and get away with it. And yeah, that's it. And it's done. So yeah, I'll just, to be polite, I say, look, I'm trying not to be as horrible as maybe I used to be on this show when it comes to films that I don't like and insulting, but like, yeah, maybe not the best example of a director's work, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But if you do want to watch it,
yeah,
if you know, maybe don't want to, if you're a completist with this sort of thing, or maybe you've never seen an Indonesian film before, then you'll never guess this is also available on TV in America.
The American version.
Yeah, so if you have a day, I'm sure that there are other cannibal films on there as well, because there must be. Like, you can literally just spend your whole day or a weekend just whiling the time away, just watching all these cannibal films.
Yeah, a bit of a cannibal marathon.
Yeah. And also, again, you won't believe this, if you actually want to own this on physical media, again, you might be like a cannibal film, you know, fan, and you want to own all these films, like, because I know there are like Video Nasty fans out there who want to own all the Video Nasties on physical media. This is also available from Severin, now not in 4K, but it is available on Blu-ray, and it's region free. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can in fact own it on physical media if you in fact want to do that.